Well, the reality is now that CIP programs, citizenship and investment programs in Europe, in the Caribbean, and elsewhere, they're under threat. The European Union would have taken legislation to its parliament a week ago, and they would have passed it, one in which they're giving countries the option to do away with the CIP programs in order to continue to to um, to have Schengen visa-free status into Europe, or to continue the program and they stop them from having visa-free access into the Schengen region, which is a difficult situation because if you don't have access into the visa-free access into the Schengen visa-free area, then clearly it will undermine the viability of these programs because a lot of people who literally get our citizenship is also to get access, visa-free access into that region. Prior, Canada was part of it, but as you know, Canada has literally suspended visa-free access for all countries, including Antigua and Barbuda. We were the final casualty of that policy, in which they felt that because we had a CIP program, that they would not continue to allow us visa-free access into Canada. And I can tell you, for example, when we first started in 2014, by about 2015, 2016, I think we got up to about $200 million in 1 year. And that's because Antigua and Barbuda had access, visa-free access into Canada. And then after that, the program fell to about, I think, as low as $67 million in 1 year. And on average, since then, we've been doing about $100 million. Now, if these countries are successful in undermining our CIP program, then I have to tell you it's going to create significant problems for the OECS currency union countries. In the case of Antigua and Barbuda, about 10% of our revenue, or maybe if I'm exaggerating, no more than probably 12, 15% comes from CIP. But in some countries within the sub-region, the CIP contributes up to 50% of the annual revenue. So you can imagine the impact on those countries. It would be a very difficult proposition. In fact, the U.S., as you know now, they have two congressmen who have decided now to go further and to pass legislation. And one of the provisions is to work in lockstep with the European Union to get them to discontinue the Schengen visa-free access into Europe. So I have taken the opportunity to write to policymakers, parliamentarians in Europe, as well as those two congressmen who are now tabling this legislation, to let them know the impact that they're about to inflict on our CIP programs and the impact on our economies. I would have reassured them as well about the type of due diligence that we have in place, in which citizens from these countries who was trying to access citizenship on our program, they have to provide a police report from the country of origin and the country of residence, or both. They also have to get clearance from Interpol, and there's without fail a review of their financial background, if they have companies and businesses and so on, to determine the source of income. So the due diligence is robust, and as far as we're concerned, our citizenship by investment programs do not represent any risk to these countries, as how they so put it. I mean, as far as we're concerned, we are now collateral damage. And I think what is also fueling this type of behavior is that they're trying to use the Russian oligarchs and suggesting that, these Russian oligarchs will utilize our programs to get citizenship and to, get into their countries and to be involved in probably money laundering and so on. They're also suggesting too that even terrorists, will target our countries, but there's no evidence of that. In any case, if a terrorist wants to target any country using, any CIP country in the Caribbean or in the OECS Caribbean, all they have to do is to come here as a tourist, because generally speaking, unless there's something known, they're listed also, and they come here as a tourist and they're considered to be a usual law-abiding person, there's nothing stopping them. Rather, if they have access to the US and Canada, and as well as the United Kingdom, we have direct flights. All they have to do is to jump on a flight and come to Antigua and Barbuda. So I don't think they're doing a good assessment of the risk. I think it's a knee-jerk reaction. And they're not looking at the collateral damage that, we are the so-called third border here in the Caribbean, in the case of the United States. They're not showing any, any empathy towards us. And we are now trying to bring these issues to their attention and to let them know that, look, we've been cooperating and I would have had constructive dialogue with all countries globally. We have, for example, the tax information exchange agreement with many countries, a mutual legal assistance treaty that was signed with various countries, various international governmental agreements, and even the U.S. FATCA. You remember some years ago, we had to do the FATCA so that the banks here have to report, the banking assets of U.S. citizens. I think it's over $50,000. And even the CRS as well, the Common Reporting Standard, which covers European Union countries. So there's been full cooperation. We're not in any sanction list. And I don't know why, they're using this kind of knee-jerk reaction. But I